Hello and welcome to the On Pointless Podcast. We're here again for another week of hypothetical questions with our guests. To start off this week, we've got another intro question. If you could have a beer with any person ever, who would you pick? Stefan?
Well, being somewhat of a math aficionado, I wanted to pick a mathematician. All the dopest mathematicians don't speak any English, but I could have beer with Paul Erdős and have a chance to finally lower my Erdős number to 1.
And for everyone looking on Wikipedia, don't worry, Google has spell check. Chara, who would be the person you'd have a beer with?
I like comfort, so I would pick my husband because I get along with him.
Aww.
You're about to make me look really bad because I was not going to pick you for this question. I was going to go with Nikola Tesla because he's my favorite scientist, and I think he'd be a very interesting person to talk to over a beer.
Does he speak English?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So our first question this week. You are now the interior designer for Jackie Chan. What color do you paint the walls of his bedroom, and what kind of art do you put up?
Is this from his main house?
Yes.
I assume that he has multiple houses.
This is his main house where he lives. You are going to be decorating his bedroom that he sleeps in most nights.
Most nights.
I'm not sure Jackie really cares about the ambiance in the room he sleeps in.
Yeah, but you still get to control it. Like, you could make that room, like, purple with pictures of feathers all over the walls. You could do whatever you want.
No, Jackie Chan is very particular about every single take. It has to be perfect. Doesn't matter how many bones he breaks, he's going to do it again to have it right. So the bedroom has to be right.
That's a good point. He is a perfectionist. He's known for that. So, what do you think? Let's just start with the color. What color do you think his walls would be?
I think it would have to be calming because he has this very busy life, so he needs like a soothing blue.
Soothing blue, okay, like a
Soothing blue.
light blue color.
Yeah.
But do you think all four walls are going to have that color? Or do you think one's going to be like an accent wall?
Well, the accent wall can be like the wall that his bed frame, the head of the bed is on.
Okay.
So he's not looking at it. So that's going to be something a lot stronger because he's not looking at it, doesn't need to soothe. So that can be like magenta.
Okay, so he's got 3 light blue walls and a magenta wall on the
Magenta
back
accent.
of his bed.
Yes.
Stefan, what kind of art do you think you'd put up in Jackie Chan's room?
Oh, geez. You come back to me. I'm going a whole different direction with this.
What direction are you going with this?
He's a practical man. You know, he doesn't have time to waste. I'm going to set his room up to essentially train him whenever he has to use it. First of all, his room, to get to it, he has to jump off the balcony of the rest of his house. And there's no padding, of course.
So his room's like 2 stories in the air with a gap that's like 10 feet to get to.
Yeah, he has to jump to it. That's the main part I've got so far. It's mostly metal with like girders and you know, lots of ladders and stuff he can fight potential intruders with.
What's a girder?
It's some kind of construction thing, I think, probably.
It's the big metal beam. You know all those pictures back in like New York where the men were working on the skyscraper and they're eating their lunch sitting on that metal beam? Yeah. That's a girder. Girder's a great word, by the way.
You know, I played Worms Armageddon and you can make girders in that, so that's where I knew it from.
Got to wall yourself in. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. So kind of like
You've
turned his house into Rumble in the Bronx.
Yes, that's right.
What's Rumble in the Bronx?
It's a really good Jackie Chan movie where he rumbles in the Bronx.
Is that done with Chris Tucker? No, that's Rush Hour.
That's Rush
1, 2,
Hour.
and 3.
The one with Owen Wilson is Shanghai Noon. And then there's Shanghai Night.
I'm pretty sure Rumble in the Bronx is the one with the famous ladder scene.
Yes,
where he fights the guys jumping in and out of the ladder.
You know, didn't we watch that movie at my birthday party for like my 9th birthday or something ridiculous?
Probably one of the best birthday parties ever.
Oh man, that movie was dope. I think Jackie Chan was probably really hurt by the advent of YouTube because people could then just put the like highlight clips of him injuring himself directly on to YouTube. You don't have to watch his movie to see that part, which is obviously the best thing.
In the end credits, when you keep seeing the same stunt
you get to
over
see
and
all
over
the takes
again.
of the times he failed.
Yeah,
that's true. Like I've seen Police Story, which is probably his best movie, Police Story 1 and 2, as far as stunts go.
Oh yes,
I couldn't tell you a single plot point of either of those movies, other than I think he's a cop and the force is crooked because that's always a police movie. I could tell you all the stunts.
Oh, dude, when he jumps to that pole and he slides down through all those lights and then smashes into one of those kiosks.
Story.
Yes,
that's Police
That's
Story.
Police Story 1. He broke, like, everything. He was electrocuted, and then he didn't like how it was looked, so he made them film it again after he recovered from some of his injuries.
Classic Jackie. You know, but you could just tell when they CGI it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Worth it.
Well, this was like pre-CGI.
No, for sure. Everything he did was practical
He
stuff.
still does this stuff.
Conspicuous CGI. It was just like...
Yeah, and that's the thing is his movies all hold up because they're practical. It'd probably be funny if you decorated his room like a hospital room and then just surrounded him with x-rays, because that's probably what he's the most used to seeing when he wakes up. Because I don't know how much time he has spent in a hospital, but oh man, like that guy is the most broken person to still be the most functional person.
Yeah, I think just when he hurts himself, he just goes back on set immediately. I don't think he takes any breaks.
Yeah, I know. The decoration for his bedroom has to be like the x-rays of all his broken bones beside the poster of his movie. So he can be like, yeah, that's when I broke this arm the 4th time. We was doing Who Am I? And then when I was doing... what's the...
Oh my gosh.
Drunken Master. Oh, that's the 3rd time I broke that rib. Everything's multiples.
You're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm so thoughtful. He's gonna love it. He comes and he's like, what is this? Okay, now for a change of pace. I got my wife Lauren to write me some questions. None of us have seen these questions at all. This question is, what fruit sounds the tastiest based on name alone? And which fruit sounds the worst?
Well, I always thought a dragon fruit should taste better, but it's never really tasted that good.
Really, a dragon fruit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess with a name so majestic, you would expect more.
Yeah.
In reality, it tastes mostly just like water.
Yeah.
It's basically like a kiwi, but like a less flavored kiwi. I was thinking pomelo. Pomelo to me sounds like it would be delicious.
Those sound really good.
But it's just a grapefruit.
Passion fruit.
Ooh,
You should have passion, but it's just kind of like slimy.
I don't like any juice with passion fruit in it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you see it and you're like, ooh, with passion fruit. And then you're like, where's the passion fruit? Especially, it's passion. Passion is a thing you're supposed to notice.
That's a very good point. Passion fruit does not stand out. Okay, how about orange for worst sounding?
Orange is a bad sounding word. I will give you that.
Yeah. And what is it? It's orange color.
It's a very lazy name
Very
as well.
lazy.
No rhymes.
Only
It's a terrible
rhymes.
word. Now you're making puns.
That joke was a lemon.
Lemon's medium.
Lemons are so bitter. Bitter? No.
But does it sound
Tart?
like it's going to be bitter based on name alone? No. I don't think so.
No, see, you were close when you said an orange.
Sour is the,
Sour is the
correct word.
You were close when you said an orange, but you were just off. Because the worst named fruit is a blood orange.
Especially since it tastes so much better.
Blood orange.
A blood orange is clearly the worst named fruit. There's no question about it.
Ah, would you like a blood orange?
And blood oranges are pretty good, but who decided to put blood in the name?
Well, they couldn't call it a red orange.
That just sounds dumb.
You have to get a tattoo of a cartoon character who is forever emblazoned on your body.
Oh my gosh. There's so many bad options.
Ooh, I would take the little bear with wings from Cardcaptor Sakura. Because I used to watch that when I was little, and it'd be a very small and cute thing.
Can you name that character?
Not now. Maybe when I was 12. Cero? Cebro? No, I have no clue.
Where would you get it?
Someone unnoticeable, because I don't want a tattoo of that anyway, like on my foot.
On your foot. Like top of your foot or bottom of your foot? I guess no one gets tattoos on the bottom of their feet, do they?
It just wears away right away and be very painful. But on top is also painful. So I guess like the ankle.
Yeah.
Keep it hidden.
Yeah, lots of people have ankle tattoos. That kind of makes sense.
Well, I don't want that tattoo. I have to have that too. So it's something cute and something that from my childhood. So I'd have it there.
Going for a low impact approach.
Yeah.
That's pretty sensible.
That's
I'm
fair.
not going to have like Daffy Duck on like a clavicle piece.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I'd probably go with a video game character. Probably like a Mega Man or a Sonic or somebody like that.
Oh.
You know, that's a lot of my childhood. It's not as much cartoons. I don't relate to that. Unless I got a dope tattoo of the Ninja Turtles.
Like a full chest piece.
Yeah, like a mural.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm either going to go really small with it or really big with it. And
With
The TMNT.
the TMNTs, you could make it like a Michelangelo piece.
you're so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're doing a mural.
You were the person that realized way too late that they were named after Renaissance artists, weren't you?
Yeah, because I didn't watch that when I was little. I was like, I don't know, old. And it doesn't have a case, but I just didn't clue in.
When they added the girl turtle, was she also named after a Renaissance artist?
There's a girl turtle?
In the cartoon for like a couple of episodes or season or something.
No, she's like a full-fledged member of the Ninja Turtles now.
Is that like April got transformed into a turtle or something?
No,
Or did they just retcon the whole beginning story?
I think they just like, there was a girl turtle that was made somewhere else and like joined them or something like that.
Yeah, they needed some diversity.
I'm pretty sure male and female turtles look identical anyways.
No, this one has boobs.
Okay.
Well, it's like the new Ninja Turtle movies. They had lips. It was really weird.
Oh yeah, those did look really weird with the lips.
Did they go through with that? I thought they kind of scrapped that.
No, they've made like...
That's just my headcanon.
They've made like 3 new Ninja Turtle movies. It's like Spider-Man. It just gets rebooted constantly. It's like every time there's a new Hulk movie, there has to be a new Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah.
Because they're green?
Yes.
And they're mean.
Exactly.
And they're fighting machines.
What they're
Whose slogan is that?
Turtle power.
Okay.
No, what they redid was the Sonic movie. They released a trailer.
Let's not talk about Sonic.
And then
It's
they're
too upsetting.
like, what's with this face? And they're like, never mind, it's coming in a year.
I actually didn't mind the original Sonic face. The way they changed it looks way more weird.
I hope they lean into it and just make it totally humanoid.
Yeah, just like a total...
Just take whatever motion capture they did and use the actual footage of the guy. Just make him blue.
I would have been so much more excited if they'd done a live-action Mega Man movie than a live-action Sonic movie. A Mega Man movie would be sweet.
But I don't know Mega Man. Everyone knows Sonic.
But what do you know about Sonic?
I know he's blue and he has red shoes. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but like...
I know nothing of Mega Man that I didn't learn from you, which is just that he's blue.
I was actually about to...
Cannon arm.
I was going to say something really dumb, because I was going to be like, all Sonic is a hedgehog that fights robots. And then I realized that all Mega Man is a person who fights robots. Well, I guess he's a cyborg, but they both just fight robots.
What's going to be the tension in the Mega Man movie? Is he going to pick the wrong boss to fight initially before he has the right power-up? Like, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah, no, that's every action movie ever where a person gets into a fight with a guy that they can't beat and they lose the fight and then they train or learn something and they go back and then they beat their enemy.
Yeah, but they're usually not so, up front with that. It's usually at least hidden a little bit behind some writing.
He's going to fight a guy with blast shielding and be like, oh no, what do I do? But then he's going to get a saw blade power up and it's going to cut right through the blast shielding.
That saw blade is totally overpowered.
Best weapon. Metal Cutter, I believe it's called, for Mega Man 1.
That's
Mega Man 2.
Metal Man. Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 was super good.
Do you think they're going to make another Super Mario Brothers movie?
At some point, they have to.
After that first one?
I like that one.
Surely they must.
I don't think that movie is that bad.
It was great if you're like 8.
It was just weird. That movie came out at the time when it wasn't about making movies gritty when they were live action. It was about just making them like kind of weird and steampunk. It's like Batman Forever. It was like the similar kind of thing where it's like cheesy and steampunk. If you made the Mario Brothers, but you made like a realistic story, but they only jump on things' heads, so it's pretty hard to do that and make it not seem stupid.
I don't know, man. But I want to say, come back to the original question. I think the original Mario is a very good tattoo choice. You could put that out in the open. It wouldn't be embarrassing at all. You see, people understand, he's into like, nerd stuff. He's one of those cool nerds that gets tattoos.
Nerd stuff is popular.
Exactly.
And if you got the original Mario, would you go with him pre or post mushroom?
Pre. Obviously, it's more iconic.
Yeah, he seems better pre-mushroom, which is weird. Because I always think of him small as not his natural state and on a mushroom as a natural state.
Really?
But that's definitely backwards. Yeah. This is the first time I'm realizing I've always thought of it that way.
Because when you're playing, the first thing you do is like, I need a power-up, whatever power-up I can find right away.
Well, in the first Mario game, you find a mushroom like immediately, and then your goal is to not lose that for as long as possible. And as soon as you do, you play safe until you get another mushroom.
So the plot of Mario is that he's a plumber who goes into a magic pipe and is sucked into a fantastical world to save a princess. At what point in this does becoming a larger man factor in? Like, is he now, once he eats the mushroom, is he a giant version of his previous self with a little bit of altered body proportions? Or does he somehow, is he shrunk down when he goes through the pipe and then the mushroom restores him to his normal self? Because honestly, he looks a little more well-proportioned when he's large.
Yeah,
you know
when he's small, compared to like a Goomba, It seems strange that those are towering over him, but it also seems weird that he would shrink as soon as he entered the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, I mean, it's the Mushroom Kingdom, so what's the sense of scale? Maybe mushrooms are huge in the Mushroom Kingdom.
But also he has to go down a pipe. Of course he had to get, like, shrink to go down. No?
I don't know. I always picture those pipes to be like the size of like a manhole, but yeah, I guess I don't know how big the pipes are.
There's no really scale reference here in the Mario world.
How big is Princess Peach?
Okay, so when it comes to Mario sizes, the only way you will ever figure that out is there's a YouTube channel called Game Theory and a guy called MattPat, and it took him years to figure out the proper height of Mario because Nintendo has never released the height of any of their characters for anything. You have to do it all by comparison. Nintendo is the craziest company going.
They should put a cutscene in front of the first Super Mario one where he goes into the pipe, and then you get to see his surroundings and what he looks like before he goes in.
I think
they should do a remaster, is what I'm saying. They should remaster Super Mario 1.
Should always be a mystery. When they do the next Super Mario movie, no prehistory. He's in the pipe, suddenly running at a Goomba thing. You just have no thing. He's just in there.
He's all up
like you're playing the game. You're just suddenly in there trying to get the thing. You don't understand what the pre-story is.
That makes sense. And he's like, ooh, a flower. Okay, I'm throwing fire now. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, that would be very shocking. And he seems to be kind of cool. Well, I guess he's not cool with it. You're controlling him. Maybe he's just like freaking out like, I can't control my body. I'm throwing fire. What is going on right now?
And then he keeps dying at the same place because he can't do the jump and he has to go back. And it's like, why do I keep
You know what? This is sounding a lot like Wreck-It Ralph. Isn't that the plot of that movie?
I've never seen it. But I mean...
Isn't it about a video game character who like realizes he's in a video game?
I think so.
I've never seen it either.
I've seen only the first one many years ago, but he knows he's a video game. There's never a story.
There's never any doubt.
Yeah, there's when the game turns off, they all go to their homes, right? They know that. Is it? I can't remember.
Now we're just speculating about a movie that none of us have seen.
I always saw it, but I don't remember anything of it, so it's like I didn't.
Here's another question from Lauren. Replace one letter of your name with a different letter to make a new name.
I have to be very, very careful with this question because there's one choice that is very, very bad.
Yeah, Mert.
Mert.
Okay, so I get to replace one letter of my name. I could be Hurt. I could be Dirt. I could just be Bert. I mean, that would be pretty standard.
I definitely wouldn't change my first letter to an M, because then that's just another name. People always think I'm called Michelle.
That's true.
What if my name was Cult?
Cult.
Kind of like the name Cult.
You could be Curt.
You could be Court.
Someone spelled my name Court the other day. I was not happy about it. There was an email chain, and I sent them an email, and their first email reply spelled my name properly, C-U-R-T. So I responded to that email, asking them another question. They responded to that, and then spelled my name C-O-R-T, even though it was clearly listed in the previous email. I responded to that, and they responded again, and this time my name was C-O-U-R-T. I was very annoyed by this exchange.
Yeah, it sounds like their spell check finally got the better of them.
I know historically we've had some people grossly misspell your name. What was that one that was particularly awful?
The worst spelling of my name I've ever seen is C-R-E-R-T-E. Crute.
Crute. Crute.
Yeah,
it's just Spanish for Curt.
Oh, wait, is this at the time where you used to say, my name is Curt with an E?
Yeah, I used to tell people my name was... This wasn't that, but there was a point in my life where I went through and said my name was Curt with an E, because I was always interested to see where they would put the E. Because some people, yes, C-E-R-T. Others, C-U-R-T-E. They would all put the E in different spots. Some were C-U-R-E-T. So I would always suggest telling people to spell your name and then throwing in a letter that doesn't normally go in there and just see where they put it.
We're not being, very ambitious with our letter changing here. Mostly we're going vowel to vowel, consonant to consonant. But you could go vowel to consonant and just really throw a wrench in the works. Like, could be anything.
I don't have a lot of options with mine because I have a 4-letter name. So I pretty much just have to go vowel to vowel.
Curt.
Just Curt.
What letter was that?
Another R.
Yeah.
Curt.
C-R-R-T? Or I was going to C-U-R-R. Curt.
Cur.
Curt.
Well, like cur. Oh, or
you Curt.
I could go full Walking Dead on it and she'd be like, curl.
Girl.
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 Here's another Lauren question. You're playing a children's board game, but the stakes are death. What do you play?
Not Jumanji.
Isn't this the plot of Bill and Ted's 2?
What did they do in Bill and Ted's 2?
In Bill and Ted's 2, they go to hell and they have to challenge Satan to a board game. Well, a game of any sort for their lives. And they go with Pong. And they're on a giant Pong board controlling 2 Pong paddles. And if they lose, then they die.
Man, we should watch that movie.
It's a really good movie. Anyway, That's not me being against the question. I'm just thinking that movie had a great premise.
So that would have to be a game that I would for sure wins.
Oh, come on. Yours would be Dutch Blitz, 100%.
Oh, yeah, I'm so good at that movie.
Children's board game. It's not really
I played that
known who you're playing against here. So
Snakes and Ladders.
typically you would,
Full
like,
luck.
as in Bill and Ted scenario, you would be playing against Death himself. So you would want to pick something you have the best chance of winning at. And I can assume that Death is kind of like all knowledgeable, so you should probably just pick Candyland because that thing's a total crapshoot.
Yeah, you should just pick a game that's completely random.
Yeah, Snakes and Ladders.
When
Roll a die. Move.
When we were growing up, we had a board game called Sweet Valley High. And it took place in a mall near Sweet Valley High. And you had objectives to, like, buy clothes and then, like, get a boyfriend. So I feel like Death would be bad at starting a relationship. And therefore, Sweet Valley High would be a tough one for him.
That's true. He just wouldn't understand. It's too human for him.
Yeah, he'd be like, what do you mean I have to start dating Steve? What's a Steve? What's a date? And meanwhile, I'd have all the boys chasing after me, and they'd call me on my cell phone, which would be gigantic because the game was in the 80s.
That's smart. Playing against Death's strengths.
Ooh, don't play Operation.
Yeah, he'd probably be pretty good at that. I feel like Death has very precise digit movement.
He's all skeletal down there. He doesn't have, like, all these muscles getting in the way.
Exactly. And he's like a master of torture, and Operation really is just torture of the dude.
You think death is torture? Death takes you from torture. You have no more pain in death.
Sweet release.
Sweet
wow,
release.
This is morbid.
Well, you brought up death. Yes, also Candyland, but still.
Yeah, both of them were pretty morbid.
Yeah.
You would be morbidly obese if you lived in Candyland.
Oh, yeah. I would totally be. I love candy.
Toothless Stefan.
Toothless, yeah. I was like, oh, why does my teeth hurt? It's like I literally ate a spoonful of sugar.
I mean, with this question, we're picturing that you'd have to play the board game against him. But
Yes.
honestly, in this scenario, clearly the board game would be a massive version of the world and you would be the piece moving. So if you played Candyland, you would be a person running through the streets of Candyland with candy everywhere. Snakes and Ladders, you'd be climbing ladders and rolling down snakes. That has to be how this would work.
It's kind of like, you should have been more specific. kind of thing.
It would have to be. So, like, Operation, you'd be operating on a dude, and instead of it, like, buzzing, this dude would just be, like, screaming at you, like, oh, no, stop, not my funny bone.
Why is there a fish in me? Is there a fish in that dude? I think there is. Probably. I don't know.
And if that was the case, I think Mousetrap would be really fun.
Oh, man.
It never worked. You'd spend all your time setting it up, and then you'd play along, and then the trap at the end would never go down. The cage never went. It would go...
As far as I'm concerned, that barely even registers as a board game.
Yeah. You don't play it. You half set it up, give up, and go play something else.
If you say that barely registers as a board game, what about the game of life? That is the worst board game.
I liked that game.
Never
Life
played
is
it.
the worst. I mean, it's the very accurate game where with 4 people playing, like, one person ends up rich and everyone else is in severe debt with, like, 10 kids living in a mobile home. So it is a very accurate board game, but it'd be pretty funny for your life to be decided by a game of life.
That's true. Very poetic. And stupid.
And death is nothing if not poetic. What would be the best flavor of Jell-O?
Peanut butter.
Ew.
Alright, we have another question here from my wife Lauren. We already have a spork. Make another 2 cutlery / utensil hybrid. There's really not too many options here. There's a fife. There's a fork knife. Is that what the kids play these days?
But what if you combined chopsticks with a spoon and you called it a choon?
I like your tune.
Because
I
then,
actually have that.
They do?
Yeah, I have one.
that's a thing?
Well, it's like chopsticks, but if you're particularly inept, they give you like a spoon sheath that you just shove the chopsticks into. So then you use the chopsticks as a handle for a normal spoon.
That's amazing.
That is the most embarrassing utensil to use. Who would ever use that and not feel like an idiot?
But you're supposed to feel like an idiot.
Fair.
Okay, what else we got?
So when you look at utensils, you commonly think fork, spoon, knife,
Ladle.
ladle, chopsticks.
What about like a baking utensil or cooking utensil?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like we could reinvent the spatula. I don't think spatulas are great. So what if you took a...
They could do more.
Can you serrate the edge on a spatula so that like when you're breaking your eggs apart... What was that?
that was having a serrated end of a spatula, then you try and scoop anything out and you just like jam the sharp bits and yank it all and it just rips it all apart.
No, the serration is on this side, so you can still scoop,
Oh.
flip it on, and then chop
Oh,
it like
so
that.
okay. So the serrated isn't on the main side, it's like on the left or right side.
Yeah, so like when you're cooking eggs with a spatula, you can like break them apart with the serrated side before you pick them up, because you always have to separate eggs before you pick them up, because who's picking up 3 fried eggs at a time? That's crazy. You'll break your yolks.
Yeah, but I don't know. You might be overcooking your eggs if you need a serrated edge to separate them.
Yeah, because I just used a regular thing and you just cut it nice.
I was you're gonna get flakes of Teflon all up in your eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about a waffle? What if you were having to break apart a waffle?
But what? Have you
In a
ever,
front.
How
you've
does-
never made a
This is a
waffle,
pancake.
have you?
How does
Pancake
cook
is,
work?
is the frying pan version of a waffle, where you would use a spatula.
Yeah, you don't need a spatula for a waffle.
I've never made a pancake or a waffle before.
It's apparent. You didn't make that apple pie lasagna, though.
That was delicious.
It was
Well,
good.
the second try was better than the first.
It was better than anyone expected and a legitimate dessert. The noodles and the apple went well enough together.
You know, we have a picture of me tasting the apple pie lasagna somewhere.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And that picture says it all. It was horrendous.
Yeah, that face of...
You didn't even cook the lasagna noodles before baking it.
The first time. The second time I did because I'd learned the error of my ways and it was a reasonable dish.
Yeah, the inside were pretty good, the inside noodles, but the outside noodles needed some help.
I still think it was reasonable and I did it myself and therefore it was amazing. It's my family recipe.
I appreciate your confidence.
It's not your family recipe. You took the seasoning thing online.
But I mixed it with lasagna and therefore it's mine.
That's the difference.
Name one other person with that recipe.
You get to create a theme park based on a movie. What movie is your park based on and what are its notable features?
Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I guess it can't be like the Potter one because there's already exists. So it has to be like non-existing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'd want to do a non-existent because other ones already exist. I was thinking like the Matrix.
Oh, that'd be really good.
And you'd have like a ride that had like one of those big bungee straps where you'd go and jump off the building and it would go down to the ground, but the ground would like give way, so you'd go into the ground and bounce back up. Like you could have some really cool Matrix themed rides and like a parkour ride where you're running across rooftops.
And then you would have the virtual reality section where you learn kung fu.
Oh, you could learn kung fu, and you do like kung fu. You know how like maybe not Cirque du Soleil, but like back when like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were big bands, and they hooked them up to wires, and they'd like fly through the audience, and you could do like a kung fu fight where you're flying through on those wires.
Or just virtual reality.
And then you go into the next room, and they shave your head and put you in a gel-filled pod, and then they shoot you down a slide of slime.
Yeah, that's the water slide.
The water slide would be awesome if you had a water slide where you were just minus the head shaving and gel, but if you were just in a pod and you had to go down a water slide,
You
in a
have to
giant
keep
pod,
the gel.
okay, there'll be the gel. You'll get your clothes soaked.
You can get rid of the tubes.
You just have a thing that had a shirt that said, "I got put in gel at the Matrix water park ride. Are you jealous?"
Oh, and then is all the concession stands all red pills and blue pills?
Red pills and blue pills are like the candy, and then you could buy just that sludge that they're eating.
Oh,
but
the
you wouldn't make
porridge.
it taste good. You would just make it taste bad. And it'd be like, oh, I thought this was actually going to be like themed. And it's like, oh, it's themed. It tastes like garbage.
The Matrix is about harsh realities.
The worst one would be, what's that? Red Round, what?
The Shining?
The Shining.
Oh, a Shining Park would be awesome. If you
That'd
just-
be
Hedge maze.
That'd be so creepy.
Yeah, but if the Shining theme park, you just lived in the hotel and you were living in a haunted hotel that had like actors that were around to just creep you out at all times and ghosts.
And then suddenly,
This is a
like,
thing people do.
blood just comes out of the
I would,
elevator.
Please put on your blood poncho for the next part of our ride.
you know what would actually be better? Instead of the Shining as like a park, what if it was the Shining Cruise? So you went on a cruise ship that was based after The Shining. So it was like a cruise that was like a haunted cruise. That would be awesome.
I don't see why it has to be on a cruise ship.
Because then you can't escape.
Despite how boring it is after 2 days.
Well, but you could keep it pretty exciting and scary. You could have crew members like disappearing and
I
stuff.
want to sleep. Stop scaring me.
Okay.
Oh, no, but you don't know it's a Shining cruise until you're so bored. And all there is typewriters available. And there's like the one barman.
It is funny because that is like the Shining experience. The whole point of The Shining was that a dude was bored to death and went crazy. That would be great to force on someone.
Oh my... Would it, though?
Oh, that'd
I
be...
thought they were going to go with a different angle. They were boring me to death.
Yeah, boring you to death until they try and chase you down with an axe.
Well, I mean, if you want to take it to a boring to death ride, you could go on Armageddon because they were boring into that comet until it died.
Oh, that comment. Tragic.
Armageddon is such a good movie.
Is it a comet?
Meteor?
Meteor? I think it's more of a meteor. I think comet has to, like, is further away.
Yes. Because a meteor...
It's technically a small planet, actually.
I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's a meteor.
I haven't seen the movie.
No.
It can't be a small planet. It's smaller than Pluto.
Why do you know about
Pluto's
space?
more than you.
Well, because I believe the difference... I think a comet has to have a gravitational pull and follow a certain pattern. And a meteor is an object somewhat free-flying in space, and when it breaks the Earth's atmosphere, it becomes a meteorite.
Is it called something else when it's landed?
Yes, once it's landed, it has a different name. But a meteor is like more of a like loosely flying through space object. A meteorite has broken the Earth's atmosphere, and a comet is gravitationally rotating. Like Halley's Comet,
Yeah.
That's why there's a cycle in which you see it.
How often does it come? 300 years? No. There's another one that's like every 300
I
years.
thought a comet had to have a tail.
Yeah, because it's a gravitational thing. That's just all the debris over the years.
Yeah, because it's pulling it. It has its own gravitational field. I remember when Halley's Comet came around.
That was in the 90s?
Probably. That's when I was alive and would have a memory. That's all we have for you this week. Thanks again for listening to the On Pointless Podcast. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to submit them at onpointlesspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again. Bye.
Catch you later.
Good day, mate.